And the final piece of hardware that I want to talk about is the cleaning cloth. So Apple decided to do away with the Apple remote, which is pointless for me at least. I never used the front row remote. So I could really care less about the remote. And if I really needed to, I do have my Mac Mini still available to me, and I can use my Mac Mini's remote if I really need to do front row stuff. But what Apple did is that they were kind enough to actually include a microfiber cloth specifically for cleaning the screen. And if you just take a look at some of my old videos, I made a video saying cleaning or MacBook screen clean, something like that. Okay, so this one over here. This one I made 9 months ago, cleaning the glossy display, and I talked about microfiber and putting water on your display and using your hand and all of that. Well, with the update to the MacBook, they actually went ahead and included a microfiber cloth, which is genius. And in addition to that, they actually updated the instruction manual to give specific instructions on the right way to clean the display, which is a good thing, because at the time with the first revision MacBook, there were no specific, clear, detailed instructions. So the information that I presented in this video here was just kind of going off the top of my head. Now if you read the manual, there's actually a sanctioned way of cleaning the display, and that's the way that I clean the display now, is by using this black cloth, and that's what I do, and that's how I do it. So this is just my brief, not so brief actually, overview of my MacBook. I think this review probably ran about 20 minutes. And this is only just touching on the hardware. Overall, I love this machine. Overall, I loved my old machine as well. It was really flaky. It was actually a lemon. So when it came time to actually turn it back into Apple, I wasn't really attached to it simply because it had so many problems with it. But when you talk about the speed difference, I would say that the difference in speed going from my old MacBook to my new MacBook, and this is going back to like when I was really into PCs, like say back in '99 and 2000, the difference in speed between 2 GHz 32-bit Core Dual and 2.4 GHz Core 2 Dual, it feels like going from say a 400 excuse me. It feels like it's going from a 450 or 400 megahertz Pentium 3 to an 833 megahertz Pentium 3. So that's really the only point of reference I can give you. Is if your computing history goes back that far, that's what it feels like. The speed difference between my old MacBook, I would say it's like a 450 megahertz Pentium 3 processor. This new MacBook feels like either pretty much like an 833 megahertz Pentium 3. So if your computing history goes back that far, that's what the speed difference feels like. There were some differences between the different versions of the Pentium 3, and that's what it feels like. If I had to give a more recent equivalent, I would say, because I've been using Macs for such a long time, and I haven't really used a real recent gaming rig or PC rig, I would say the closest comparison I could say would be like, say, a Pentium 4 2.4 gigahertz to a Pentium 4 3.2 to 3.4 gigahertz. Because the Pentium 4 was a crap processor anyways. I hated the Pentium 4. That's why the newer Core Dual chips are actually more like Pentium 3s. Or Pentium 3 hybrid with Pentium 4 processors. And that's what the actual Core 2 Dual architecture really is. It's actually more of a fusion between Pentium 3 and Pentium 4. Because the Pentium 4 architecture was crap. And that's why the last PC that I actually built and made on my own was an Athlon XP. And my final PC was an Athlon XP 1800 plus, but I overclocked it a little bit, and I put in like 1 or 1.5 gigs of RAM. So it's been a really long time since I've used PCs, but That's really the only thing I can compare it to is going from like a 450 megahertz Pentium 3 to a 800 megahertz Pentium 3. That's really is the best assessment I can say of using this thing real world. Once again, they changed the hard drive, they changed the super drive, they changed the actual chip, they changed the front side bus. The memory is still the same. The memory is still the same. The LCD is still the same. The LCD still uses a fluorescent black light, so it doesn't use the LED display like the new MacBook Pro. So it still uses a tube, basically a fluorescent tube backlight. So the LCD is still the same, but just about everything else, major architectural improvements in this MacBook. I apologize for running a bit long, but I really had a lot to say in this review. I was really excited about it, and I understand that it was delayed. I've been using it for about 3 weeks now, and this is just a review of just the hardware and just my general overall thoughts on the hardware. So, if I have time today, maybe I'll make one more video talking a little bit more about the software and changes to the software, but really I just kind of want to wrap it up and say that's about it. Alright, that's about it. Peace.